He was the voice behind countless characters, the genius of comedy, and one of the greatest performers Saturday Night Live ever had. Phil Hartman was loved, respected, and admired by millions. But behind the scenes, far from the bright lights and applause, his life was moving toward a dark and tragic end no one expected. On May 28, 1998, police entered his Los Angeles home and discovered one of Hollywood's most shocking and mysterious crime scenes, a murder that defied logic, filled with unanswered questions, strange behavior, and a chilling silence from the people who claimed to know him best. The official story was simple: a domestic dispute turned deadly. But the details suggest something far more disturbing: drug use, psychological instability, hidden arguments, mysterious phone calls, and a series of events that spiraled into a nightmare. Tonight, we uncover the secrets, the tension, and the shadowy final hours that led to the unnatural and mysterious death of Phil Hartman, the man the world called the glue of comedy. Phil Hartman wasn't just a comedian, he was an artist. His voice, his timing, and his dedication to his craft made him a legend. But the brighter the star, the longer the shadow. And Phil's shadow was filled with emotional distance, marital struggles, and increasing tension inside his home. His wife, Brynn, was battling demons he couldn't control, and the combination of fame, pressure, and addiction became the fuel for an explosion that left Hollywood shattered. Tonight, we dive into the timeline, the psychology, the evidence, and the mystery behind Phil Hartman's shocking death. Phil Hartman was born in 1948 and grew up with a natural ability to entertain. His gift was subtle. He didn't chase fame, he worked for mastery. Before SNL, he built his skills with the groundlings, helping shape the careers of Paul Reubens, John Lovitz, and many others. When Phil joined Saturday Night Live in 1986, the show was struggling. But Phil brought structure, professionalism, and a calmness others depended on. Cast members called him the glue that held the show together. His impressions, Bill Clinton, Ronald Reagan, Frank Sinatra, became iconic. But while his career soared, his personal life grew complicated. He was private, quiet, and often emotionally unreachable at home. His marriage to Brynn Hartman, though beautiful in its early days, slowly became a battlefield of frustration, dependency, and instability. Brynn was stunning, energetic, and full of passion, but she was also insecure, struggling with self-esteem issues, and haunted by the pressure of being married to a superstar. She wanted to act, to succeed, to be recognized, but Hollywood never embraced her. Friends revealed that Brynn often felt overshadowed, jealous, and desperate to be seen. Over the years, her frustrations deepened, and she turned to substances, alcohol, drugs, and emotional outbursts. Phil tried to help, but his calm personality clashed with Brynn's volatility. Their marriage became a cycle of arguments, followed by calm periods. Still, no one ever expected the relationship to end in violence. But behind closed doors, the tension was growing, waiting for a trigger. On the night of May 27, 1998, the Hartman household seemed normal. Phil had dinner with friends, returned home, and went to bed around 10 p.m. Brynn, however, had been drinking earlier and later visited a friend who noticed she appeared frustrated, emotional, and restless. When she returned home, something sparked between them, an argument, a trigger, an emotional burst. Around 3 a.m., Brynn entered the bedroom with a .38 caliber handgun. What happened in those minutes is one of Hollywood's darkest mysteries. Did they argue? Was Phil asleep? Did he try to calm her down, like he had so many times before? Moments later, 3 gunshots shattered the silence. Phil Hartman, one of the greatest comedic talents of his generation, was gone. After shooting Phil, Brynn didn't call 911. Instead, she drove to a friend's home, confused and distraught. She confessed what she had done, but her friend did not believe her. Brynn had made dramatic statements before. Only after bringing her back home and seeing Phil's body did he call police. Officers rushed to the home and escorted the children to safety. Inside the bedroom, they found Phil lying in bed, 3 gunshot wounds, forehead, throat, and chest. As police tried to retrieve Brynn from the master bedroom, she locked the door and ended her own life with the same weapon. The crime scene triggered shockwaves across the world. But the question remained, what triggered Brynn that night? Toxicology later found cocaine, alcohol, and antidepressants in her system, a dangerous combination known to cause aggression, paranoia, and emotional breakdowns. But the deeper question was why she had access to a loaded gun, and who gave it to her. While the official story labels the tragedy as a domestic murder-suicide, many questions remain unanswered. Why did Brynn relapse into drug use after years of being clean? Who supplied her with cocaine hours before the shooting? Why did friends report she was unusually agitated more than normal on the night of the crime? Some suggest Brynn had mental health struggles that were not properly treated. Others believe she had developed growing resentment toward Phil's emotional distance. A small group even speculates darker influences, people who knew Phil was planning to step back from Hollywood, or individuals connected to drug sources that Brynn had returned to. While these theories aren't proven, they highlight the chaos, secrecy, and emotional instability surrounding the final hours. What remains undisputed is that the tragedy could have been prevented if Brynn had received help, if someone had intervened earlier, or if she hadn't had access to drugs and a loaded firearm. Phil Hartman's death shook Hollywood in a way few celebrity tragedies ever have. He was only 49, at the height of his career, and beloved by everyone who worked with him. Shows like News Radio and The Simpsons were forced to rewrite characters. SNL dedicated an emotional tribute to him. Friends described him as the kindest, most stable presence in their lives, a man who didn't deserve the violent fate that came for him. His legacy continues through his performances, his iconic voice work, and the unforgettable characters he created. But the mystery surrounding his final moments, the sudden emotional collapse of his wife, and the lingering questions of what truly led to that moment will forever remain part of the tragedy. Phil Hartman brought joy to millions, but his life ended in pain, confusion, and heartbreak. His death was labeled a murder-suicide, but behind that simple label lies a storm of emotional struggle, addiction, mental health issues, and unanswered questions. Was it preventable? Could someone have helped Brynn before she broke? We may never know the true depths of their final night. But what we can do is remember the incredible life Phil lived, the brilliance he gave the world, and the legacy that continues to shine long after the tragedy. This is the story of Phil Hartman, comedian, legend, and a soul taken far too soon.